a 1 hour, let's say it's if I say so, it's an online training program on how to create videos. So just a brief introduction, and then I will just list in one or two statements that what was the objective of this online training program for 1 hour. Okay, now let me introduce to all the participants we have from various open universities and other places. Vijay, firstly, we have almost 50 participants, as much what we can see right now. So more will be joining. We have the capacity of 100 participants. Now, colleagues, Vijay Jodha is a well-known film documentary maker. He has been educated in the New York University, the most dangerous place at this moment. So, but he was there in New York and studied filmmaking from there. He has worked with directors like Meera Nair. That's a big credit, Vijay. And then he has broadcasted documentaries, films on BBC, CNN, and Discovery. Again, big credit to you. Then,
Thank
to my friends, another introduction of Vijay is that he has been awarded from Bill and Melinda Foundation. He has been awarded from Ford Foundation, and many such awards he has received. So, if maybe we can share his CV later on, and but you can always find it on the internet. And then his films have been archived in the U.S. Library of Congress. So I don't know, Vijay, how do I introduce you? So, but these are the factual information, and you have been doing it. And then lastly, the most important part is that he has been using this media, the films and all that, for social change. That's very, very important part. So that was a brief introduction about Vijay Jodha. Now, Vijay, just my colleagues and why, what was the objective as we discussed. As you know, Government of India, many countries world over, not only India, we are moving towards the online education now. And on online education, Government of India, MHRD and University Grants Commission has said video is going to be one of the component along with text and discussion forum and assignments. So, and I thought all of in the open universities, especially even in the formal universities, mostly, not mostly, or I don't know what percentage, but universities have a small studio set up into that. So people, they go and then they do a shooting. But none of us, we are a trained people that how to create a video, and we don't have to have a half an hour. It can be 15 minutes, especially during this lockdown period when we can go to our universities to a studio. But we have to develop our online courses, and where there we have to build into a few videos of short duration. So I thought it's a great opportunity from you to learn from you that how to create these shorter videos. So we thought, Samka thought that let's organize an hour of training program, and hence we are here. You can go up till 4:30, 4:35, then we will have 3, 4 questions, and then we will wind up. Thank you so much, and over to Vijay.
thank you. Appreciate that. Um, Everybody can hear me very well, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, yes. So what we have looked at first, as to point out, we have been, or at least the kind of filmmaking I have been trained in, the kind of filmmaking I have been associated with most of my career, as well as the kind of filmmaking most of the industry has been doing so far, as you know, is the conventional type, which involves, a fairly large crew, which is that you have a cameraman, sound recordist, production assistants, and all the other people. And that is how you realize a project. You have somebody who is doing the script writing, somebody who's a subject specialist. We are talking about academic based or specialized kind of films, documentaries, education, ethnographic films, all kinds of non-fiction work in particular. All of that requires some subject specialist to work with you. You need a script writer, and you need there are a lot of times they are usually driven by a voiceover. So you need a voiceover artist to do all of that. So in addition to the crew, you have all of these people. And top of that, you need all that equipment to get from here and there. And once you hit the post-production stage, you need to get into a studio, you're getting your voiceover recorder, you're getting the film made, you're putting a lot of elements. Sometimes you're purchasing all of these, be it graphics, animation, music, all kinds of things. So this is the kind of filmmaking that has predominantly being done so far. Then the other one, which has been a recent phenomena, last I would say 10 years especially, which has been the more of your low budget, mobile driven kind of film, which is using very minimal equipment, done very guerrilla style. You have a very small crew, people are wearing multiple hats. So your cameraman may also be doing the sound, and you may have the person who's presenting is also the director and is also the narrator and all of that. And finally, the kind of equipment you're using are very makeshift kind of things, which would be, you have some small gizmo you can attach to your mobile, that you can get very nice clean sound. You don't need some fancy lights, maybe just a small LED kind of panel mounted on your mobile. You can do that, a small tripod or something to handheld devices and all of that. And towards producing films very, very inexpensively, this is the kind of thing which is becoming very, very common with all kinds of news gathering operations. It's becoming very common with films being made in, say, conflict zones or in any kind of natural disaster kind of places where, something like what we have right now. Film or news gathering teams, documentary filmmakers who are out there, they can't afford to travel with a big crew, so this is what they're using. It's very, very common now. And the only thing is that once you get to the post production part of it, again you use a lot of additional material. You again edit it on a typically on a distant on offline system, which would be, what you're using for conventional films, which is, things like Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, all those kind of things. And then you get some good music and some graphics and all other elements to make it a real nice, very attractive and very, very engaging piece of film work. So these are the two options we have, but what we are looking at right now is the third kind of option, which is more suited to what we are in the situation we are in, which is that how do you make films as a one-person show, it's like a one-man band basically, which is that, you don't have a subject specialist, you don't have a voiceover artist. The whole project is driven by one single person, which is typically your subject specialist, a university professor, or whatever college lecturer who's wanting to now put his lectures out in the web space so that his students can look at it, benefit from them, and all of that. So he or she is playing those three roles, and at the same time we are looking at not having any kind of crew to help him out. Now, a lot of universities these days, as you might know, they have a film department, or they have at least somebody to help them turn their lectures or their academic work into a film form. In this instance, what we are now that we are locked up, there's no opportunity to do any of that stuff. So everything has to be done by a single person. And we are assuming that the person has no access to any kind of editing software, etc., on his computer either. And most importantly, he's a person or she's a person who has no idea about this. B, may have very little interest in this also. And we cannot assume that everyone has interest in making films. That's a wrong assumption. So we just want to find a way in which this can be done with as much of ease as possible and as quickly as possible without spending any money, without trying to get equipment or anything else which is out there, because it's not possible to get anything at this time. That's the reality of it. So we'll be looking at that third option altogether. Now, in this third one, there are three ways in which you can make films. Okay. Number one, which some of us may be very familiar with, which is, we make these PowerPoint presentations, PPT as we call them. And once they are done, you can even record a voiceover for them. So one option is just that you make a presentation, which is your lecture slides and all of that, record a voiceover on your computer same time, and then you can put it over your PPT, and then you can export that as a movie file or a MOV file. So that is a ready-made video. That is one very, very simple way of doing a video. Okay. I'm sure some of us may be familiar with that. Number two is another option, which is that you set up two accounts. Like right now we are having this, this whole meeting using Zoom. if you set up, say, two accounts using two mobile phones. So one mobile phone, the one I'm using, for example, to interact with all of you, another one, another account with a different email ID, I set it up on another mobile phone, and then I'm working on a what do you call, on my laptop or a desktop machine, and one is basically you have me talking or the person is talking, the other one is focused on his computer. What it does is that you are getting two of those, and as a result you are able to basically make a complete film in which you're explaining stuff. You see the person, you see what he's talking about or she's talking about, you have that recording, just as this interaction we are having right now is getting recorded. That end product can be edited out as it is, could be uploaded. So that is another way of making a audiovisual film or a video of a, lecture or any kind of content that Aganvesham may be looking at. Okay. Now, the third one, which is what I'm going to be focusing on this afternoon, which is making a video from complete scratch, which is a conventional kind of filmmaking, but using just your mobile phone. Okay. Uh, Now the thing is that most of our mobile phones that we have these days, we are all using smartphones, and you have something which is, either you're using iPhone or you're using an Android. iPhone seems to be more easy to work with, but it is fairly expensive. All the apps that you have for that are not that cheap either, and it is not as common as Android phone. So I'm going to, although I've been using more of iPhone earlier in all our computers and editing, everything we do on Apple Mac system. So that is what we are more familiar with. But in this instance, I will focus on Android based mobile phone. And the idea is that everything is within your phone itself. How do we realize a complete video product using just our mobile phone? Okay. So, this again, whatever am I talking about? I have all of it that down. I will basically send this out to you as a PDF file, whether you could share it with people later on, so there's no need to make some extensive notes at all. And so, yeah, that way you can figure out how one can take this thing forward at your respective ends. Yeah. Now, this lectures, as I said, because one thing I wanted to clarify, Madhu, are we having only people who are in the teaching profession, or do we have some mass comm students as well here among the people today?
Majority of us, we are teachers, but few mass comm students are also there. So majority
Oh,
of the other are teachers, but
okay.
students, maybe some mass comm students are also there.
Okay. So, just to clarify this particular lecture, at least this major part of this, I'm just focusing on producing lecture videos for distant learning and for self-producing classroom, situation. How do we do that? Long distance using minimal or no extra equipment. Okay. This is not, and I again emphasize, this is not pertaining to doing interviews for documentary film or news situation. I don't want the mass communication students to have the wrong idea here. I just want to be clear. We are trying to do it. People who have no idea or interest or acumen or whatever expertise in making films, how do they go about it? I'm sure the mass communication students, a lot of them already know that. So I don't want to confuse them or anything. So just to clarify that. So we'll just focus on this lot first. The classroom lecturer or professor or teacher or whatever trying to create these videos for long distance learning. Yeah. So number one, the basics of camera, light, and sound. And in this, I'll just show you how we will work with that. Number one, I would urge that, when you are starting to do this thing, you'll have to make sure the mobile phone you're using is fully charged, obviously. Second thing, you have to make sure it is put on airplane mode, because if you don't have it on airplane mode, you're shooting and suddenly you have a phone call coming or a WhatsApp message coming or anything that will disrupt, that might create noise and all of that. So we don't want any of that stuff. Plus, that sucks up some extra battery, so we don't want that happening either. Two. Number three, you'll have to make sure that there's enough room in your mobile phone to shoot films, to make these films. You'll have to check the settings, number one. Number two, you'll have to make sure that you have deleted or transferred out all the things that you do not need in your mobile phone. So any of the files you have downloaded which can remove, or any pictures, video clippings, or anything else you have shot, please remove all of that so that this all space is there. And if you are shooting at 1080 p, that is the resolution you're working with. And I urge everybody to shoot at the best quality possible in your respective mobile phones. It'd be a shame if you don't use the best quality. Okay, so if you're using 1080, for example, that is going to take up about 180 MB per minute. So if you are shooting, say, a 15-minute video, you will require about 2.25 GB space. What I would urge you to do is that, if you can, shoot yourself and just as a test run, see how that goes. Do it for about 15 minutes, because you'll find some mobile phones have this system in there that they will stop working automatically after 8 minutes. Some stop after 10 minutes. So are they having capacity to record? Because we don't want you to be preparing your lecture and everything else, and suddenly you start shooting and it just keeps stopping, and maybe you don't even realize, and all of that should not happen. In terms of the lecture itself, I think you need to break it down into a lot of parts, not more than 10 minutes each. And there's a reason for that. I'll come to that bit later. And of course, once you break them down, you give them, file names. They should all match up to your particular chapter or whatever unit that you're teaching, so that it assists the students who have to look at them. And there are other additional things you'd require outside of lecture, such as supporting documents and all of that. I'll come to that as well. Okay. Now, coming to the camera, light, sound, and all of that, the technical part, as I said, it's just a one-person show all the way. So, the way you would do it is that, I'll just show you, there are few things to keep in mind, that, you have it framed very nicely so that the videos turn out a little professional. They have to look very, very professional, even though they are being produced by people who may not be themselves professional filmmakers. Okay. So I'll give you an example. First, the framing part of it. Just a second. Just sit down and sit here. Sit. Now, you see the way this has been set up. This I've just put my son there. Now, what happens is that if you're shooting and if you're getting, there are 2-3 ways to shoot this thing. You are shooting at a low angle in which he is looking down. So you're shooting, you'll have to set the camera up to, reverse, so that you are filming yourself as well as watching yourself shoot. There are a lot of advantages to doing that. Number one is you can see how it is being filmed. B, you can see if it is rolling, because sometimes it stops, you would not come to know. C, you can see the frame is coming properly. So in this instance, if you put it very low, it doesn't work very well, because your eyes are not coming nicely. There's a lot of shadow area under the chin and all of that. It's very, very unflattering angle as well. So a good way to shoot is to shoot it slightly from a higher angle, which is somewhat like this. Now, other thing you have to keep in mind is that, the background is all very clean. In this case, I have covered there, so you have a bit of lines, but you shoot yourself against a wall so that you have very, very clean lines, and preferably no vertical lines at all. Because what happens is this, that vertical lines will disturb, if they are not coming straight, then they look crooked, and as a result, your video will not look professional. And certainly if you use this typical office chair where you have this black thing or whatever upholstery at the back, that's very, very disturbing. So a good chair to use is something like this. So sit in this one, please. Yeah. So you have this where it is, your furniture is not visible at all. And if you have clean lines at the back, or preferably very soft kind of thing, that will come out better. In terms of the clothing also, these are very, very basic things which people who work in the news profession are very well aware of. Things like that, you have to, make sure it doesn't get too contrasty. If you have light skin, then it's a good idea to wear slightly lighter clothes. If you have dark skin, if you're against a white background, that will, it create very strong contrast. Details will not come out, and that will look very, very unprofessional. Idea is to make the whole video look as professional as possible. So you'll have to make sure, and if you have soft background, then it will come out better. And if you have environment itself, if you're shooting it in your office, for example, make sure that there's some soft furniture and all of that. That kind of sucks up the sounds. You will not have too much of echo and all those things. So sound will come out very, very clean. We are assuming that the lecturer will not have access to you on a lapel mic, otherwise that can take care of the sound bit. So you have no sound equipment other than what you have inbuilt mic in your mobile phone. So a clean sound will be very, very helpful. You want to, because that is driving your lectures. So that is how you will get clean sound. You have some soft furniture that will suck up the echoes and all of that. If you have metal and a lot of glass and all of that, that will create bad sound. So those issues can be sorted out. And then just move your chair all the way close to that light, please. If you are sitting in a situation where you have a bit of sparkle and all of that, and that kind of sets up very well. The way it works, I'll show you. Like, for example, you have, and again, if you do not have tripod, you can just set your just hold this, pointing to this thing, please. Okay. Okay. Hmm. You see, what I have done is, I have not used any kind of very major, tripod or anything. All you have is, I put a bunch of books, and on top of that, I've just put a simple plug there. You can use this, and I have put my cell phone on top of that. And I have done is I have reversed this thing, as you can see, uh, you know, so it is capturing this face. Yeah. And actually, this light is coming in. Okay. If you are doing that again, if you have some, okay, is that coming here or what? Is that getting here? What? Getting the picture? Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you are, you have to set it up in a manner in which you have the eyes coming out clearly. That is very, very crucial. And on top of that, you have your, uh, okay. So you have your books. Just get up. I'll just sit here and I'll explain to them. Yeah. Thank you. If you have the eyes clearly, and if you're getting a reflection here, for example, right now it is reflecting, you cannot see the eyeball. So you can adjust slightly like that, and you get very clean. You can see the sparkle in the eye is very, very important. If it's all dark or shadow, that makes a very, very unprofessional looking video. So that part is sorted out. You can use just normal lights. You can put a lamp and all of that, and you're ready to go. I have this natural light coming this side, which is in normal circumstances not a good idea, because if you're going to shoot a video and over the course of the day the light will keep changing. So try to shoot with artificial light. You know so that is how you would have your camera set up. As I said, you have this thing done in a very, very simple manner, and it's there. And all you do is you would just record your video here, and you could shoot all your part, which is all your lectures, whatever you want to introduce, and all of that. That is one thing you can do. As you can see, I'm just recording that. Okay. Now I'll just show you the second part, which is your other part. So obviously there's a subject specialist, a professor or a lecturer explaining whatever in a typical classroom kind of thing, a 10-minute lecture that he or she has prepared. And beyond that, you have, you obviously he's got everything like a PowerPoint on his, on his computer. So you have that. For example, as you can see, he's got this other lecture, which he's the slides that he's got, so you can keep recording that and he can keep speaking over that. Now the speaking part, again, as I said, you have set up the camera here, which is I'll just show you how it is done. This is your setup. Just a moment. This is a video. Put a book here, please. Okay. Yeah. So, you can see this is how we have set this thing up. Nothing very fancy, just books, and you have your, you have your lecture. So the camera is now, the mobile phone is set up on this slide that you have. And what I'm doing is that, if I'm speaking very close to the microphone of the mobile, I'm going to get very, very clean sound. There'll not be any problem at all. So because I'm not being seen, so I'll speak as close as I want to, like here, right here. And you are just running the slides one after the other. You're explaining whatever you have to do. And in that process, you are, you know, uh, recording all of this. So your content is being prepared like this. Okay. So whatever, every slide is there. It's one of my old presentations for one of my films I'd done for agency a while back. So like that, it's a film about sanitation issues and all of that. Okay. Okay. So so what I do is I have got my recording here. Okay. Are we good so far? I'll just take a break, and any questions or confusion, let me clear that before I go forward. Madhu, anybody wants to ask anything?
Any questions anyone has? Manas, does anyone has raised their hands? Or we can go ahead.
We can go ahead. Before that, in the question box, there is one question has come asking is Filmora good for making video?
Uh, Actually, I would not know, and I don't want to answer that. You know, because as I said, we have been working more on the conventional things, which is Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, the professional things. I strongly urge that whatever there are a whole bunch of free softwares available at this time, which you can edit with your mobile very easily, and all of them have option where you pay a little bit extra to get some additional features. So you can try them out freely. You can go on the web and locate all of them. Filmora is there, Movavi is there, ucut. I'm going to be using ucut today just to show that, because it's free, so anybody who wants to try out, they can do that without anything off their back at all. But
Okay,
all
yeah,
of
Vijay,
them
everyone
are
is
good, I think.
Vijay, everyone is appreciating your presentation. It is being given in a practical way. That's in the chat mode. We can continue. Yeah, people are
Okay,
appreciating
great.
the
Yeah.
practical approach. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Now, just a second, Dhruv, you can hold this for me, and I'll just show this how this is being done here. Okay. Okay. Now, what I'll do is, you can just highlight on this thing. So what I have done is I have recorded a bunch of clips. As we saw, I had done a setup on my books using a simple multi-plug. I have recorded back camera, myself, and then front camera I have set up and made a tight sort of frame, and I've recorded this PowerPoint presentation. So this PowerPoint presentation would be your typical lecture, incorporating all kinds of, what do you call, pictures and the points, what a normal professor or lecturer would be doing in a classroom setting, in a physical classroom setting. Here we have, so, that kind of stuff. So basically that material is there. We have documented all of that. And so we have that all in my mobile phone now. Now what I'm going to do is, I will exit this video altogether, and then we will go across to uh, this software, which I said is something called ucut. It's a free software. So I have got this thing. Anyone can download it. There's a pro version which you have to pay a little bit extra. Again, your call. Whatever seems to work well with your system, whatever you are happy with, you can go with. No big deal. So we'll just show how it is done. So I open a new file as a new project, and out of that, as you can see here, you have this and this. I've selected two clips, which is what we have. This one where I'm speaking, and you can see below, this is the timeline here. I've got this whole clip here. Okay. And then I've got this lecture, which are all these slides are there. Now, all I need to do is edit this out, which is very, very simple here. For example, I say, okay, I want to trim out this thing. So I've just opted for this trim icon, and I have made a clipping. I've decided, okay, I want this one. I'm just doing it roughly without reading, but you can play it, get it exactly down to the right timeline and all of that. And you can cut it, split it, all of that. So we have trimmed this out. Or you can remove out middle if there's some part which are false start or anything that didn't work well for you. I've chosen trim. I've chosen okay. Okay, so now this is done. So I have this whole thing here. And then I have this other clip here as well, which is me talking. Again, you can pull out whatever that you don't feel is necessary and edit this thing out. So for example, I again choose trim, and I've removed this. I'm doing it without listening or doing anything, just to show you the process. That's it. You're not getting into details of it, that what's a best shot and what looks good, bad, etc. Okay, you've got this ready, you got this whole thing done. And then after that, you can change the speed, you can rotate, you can even crop it slightly if you feel that extra, the cover at the back doesn't look right, it doesn't look professional, you can crop it and all of that. You can also, you can go with filters, like for example, this filter is there. Now what this will do is, I want to adjust these slides that we are using, and I have decided to adjust the filter. So I'm increasing the contrast, for example. I've increased that. I've increased the lightness of it also. What that has done is removed that jitter which I was getting, because these are all shot of the computer. All that jitter is now gone. So I've done that. I've chosen okay. So what you do is, you go back to this thing. You see, it's telling, it's reading all of that. Okay. Now I decide that, okay, let's go to this thing. Yeah, I decide I want to put titles. So I put this title file right here.
Vijay, we have
And
to
I,
see the
Is it
your. We are not able to see the screen, Vijay. Please.
okay.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is, once this thing is done, I'll send you link to editing using the same software. People have posted some very good YouTube videos, so they can look at that. It's explained much more clearly in that.
sure?
This is more to give a conceptual overview of this thing, that okay, roughly this is how one could do that,
Okay,
because
fine,
obviously
fine.
editing will take time to do. We don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of it, and so you have some idea at least how it is being done. Okay, so I have opted for, say, putting a title for this, and then, whatever I want to put that, you can increase or decrease the size of it. So, things like that, you want to create some effect on that, you can do that. So all of this, what it does, it basically sets you up for virtually everything that you need to do on an editing situation, which is, you need to put a text, you need to trim out all the useless junk, you need to make a very tight, say, a 10-minute film out of it. That is there, incorporating all your lecture slides and all of that. So that gets you there. And once it's done, then you can very easily, this also has option to go for free graphics, free music. You hit the music and it'll give you lots of options, copyright free, royalty free. There's no issue of worrying about that, okay, this is pirated, or I don't have permission to use it, and can I actually share it out there in the public, and all of that. Those issues will not come in the way at all. So one can do that, and then you can just, once you're done, you can save it and you can export it as at whatever resolution you want. Typically, 1080 is a good thing to work with. So you do that and have a film ready there, And then, of course, you can WhatsApp it, or you can go into YouTube or Vimeo, lots of these places, and upload it, or you can pass it to your respective institution, and they'll put it out wherever they want to do that. Reason I was suggesting was, doing a 10-minute version, or even say 8-minute version, is just that you are able to, manage it better. you are not in a classroom situation. So what happens is all the students in the classroom, typically instructor knows that, okay, am I pacing it right, or am I going too fast, or am I going too slow? Based on the kind of students you have in the feedback you're getting, you can decide those things. But in a distant learning situation, you don't have that advantage. So it's better that you keep it such a pace that even the whatever the slower students can also keep up, and in case there's somebody who is a bit faster, they can go through that more quickly. B, if you create a long video, it creates a lot of problems. A, it takes longer time to produce it, longer time to process it, longer time to upload it, longer time to download it, and a lot of sharing and all of that can be a problem. Plus, if students want to interact with the instructor, what happens is if it's a long video, then they're getting stuck. They'll say, okay, I had an issue with that at this point, somewhere after the second half, and blah, 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 which is going to waste a lot of time. Instead, if you have them divided conceptually or unit-wise or whatever, you know, okay, video number 14, which was dealing with this aspect of this subject, my subject, that is where the problem is. So let's deal with that. So you get that part together. And in addition to that, what is needed is that, not only are you putting the video out, you're also putting those slide lectures as a PDF file or whatever out as well. And you are also putting out supplementary material, which is, your other, any kind of secondary sources, all of that you want to do. That is a very good thing. And I would also like to point out that, if you, as a instructor, if you want to share links or gateways to other material, third-party material, YouTube videos, libraries, you have a lot of primary sources material which is sitting out there, digitized form. If you look at National Digital Library, they have 100-year-old material now. And they are, so there are lots of these links. I'll send you a link to about 25 libraries, which is like 20, millions of books, all the class books, as well as a lot of research material, reports, all kinds of things, all free, all legitimate. So all of that material is like you are inside an actual brick and mortar university. You're not missing out anything at all. You have the research there, you have a lectures guidance there, you have a lecture there, you have her slides, everything. So altogether, that will really set you up in almost as good a situation as a physical classroom situation. That's it. I'll send all these links, the links to all of these things. So whether it's the possibly the different video editing softwares, or the resources, online resources for how to do a better miking or better camera work, as well as all the different library links where you can get material for your whatever field you're studying in and all of that, that will be out there. It's not pertaining to India or any one subject. Everyone, everywhere can look at that and, participate from that.
Okay, thank you. We can take few questions. Manas, anyone wants to ask anything?
Okay,
Okay,
I have a question.
Vijay, there is a question that how to add my voice once the video is shot.
Yeah. If you go to this particular, for example, as using UCut, you could also, as one of your colleagues pointed out, Filmora, all of them have an option where you can record a voiceover. So what you would do is that you can record your voiceover separately and then record all the other material and then put it all together. Or you can also do that you edit your whole film out as you want to edit it and then record a voiceover using your mobile phone again, and you can slap it onto your finished film without any problem. On top of that, you can also get some nice instrumental music. You want to put that, you can do that. All the sound levels, you can play with that. If you feel I want it higher in the beginning and lower, much like a professional film, you can do all of that on your mobile phone very easily, and since you are recording a voiceover, picture does not matter. Your voice is all that matters. So you can actually record, you can put mic very, very close to you and record a voiceover. Again, recording, as I said, in a very good environment from the sound point of view, not a place which has a lot of echo and not place where there's a lot of other traffic, whether it's physical traffic happening or any kind of sound coming behind front. All your air conditioning fans should be switched off. You record it that way. And phone, as I said, your mobile phone should be placed on a table or whatever. As I said, you should be very, very steady, and you are at a very steady distance, not moving forward or backward. No rustling of sheets. just do that. Even if you have to do multiple takes, do that, so that you have at least enough material to create a very nice, clean voiceover track for yourself.
There is two persons interested to ask question. Samina
Yes.
and Dr. Shima. Any one of you, please.
Hello, this is Dr. Seema.
Yes, ma'am.
Vijay, I had asked this question, how to add my voice once the video is short. The thing is still not clear. Can you show it in the app? Because once the video is short and later on, I remember that, oh, I had to add my voice and I had to add some clip to it. I had to speak something about it. So later on, how can I edit it this way? So can you show it in the mobile?
Yeah, I'll just see if I can find that on this thing. Just a moment, please.
Okay, during this time, can Samina wants to ask questions? Samina, please. I think Samina unable to hear us. Please, Vijay, continue.
Let Vijay explain that first, the first part of it.
You see, if you, I'll show you, this is the video which is right here. Can you see the picture here?
Yes.
I can.
Just show it. Yeah. Can you make out all the different options which are here on this? Like this is the video I have shot, right? Which we have tried to edit just now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you see that I'm just going over this small video I've made, and this is the finished film we are seeing at the top part. Yeah. And here, if you notice, there are these different options are there. One which say text, which means adding online captions, stickers, some emojis, and all kinds of icons you can add. Speed is if you want to slow down or speed up any of the sections of the film, etc. And then there's this option which says record. You are going into this and you are recording another voiceover or whatever you are doing. So, you know, like for example, you see, you record audio, you see it says here, allow UCut video.
I can see.
So you can do that. And not just in UCut, if you go with any of the other ones, they also have Filmora, Movavi, they all of them have this option to record your voiceover later on. That is not a problem at all, you know.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you take bit of care, it doesn't require equipment, just a bit of planning and all of that, you can record very, very professional sounding voiceover to go with your film, you know.
Thank you so much, Vijay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone wants to ask question and interact with Vijay, you are free to just raise your hand so that I can allow you. You can ask question.
Okay, I have
Yeah,
a
Urvasi.
question.
Urvasi is there.
Vijay, I have a query. Like if you are sitting in your office or at home, I am sitting at my residence. So can we have two videos and merge together? Can that be done on the mobile?
It can be done. So all you'll do is you will record your part and email it to me, or whatever, WhatsApp it to me and all of that. You know, email is better, or if you upload it to, you know, WeShare or whatever, you know, where it's sent out in the best quality possible. You know, some of them, WhatsApp, for example, compresses and makes it low grade. So it is not a good format to work with as far as editing part goes. But yeah, you can do whatever you like, and you can just upload it and send me a link. I'll download it and I'll edit it together. That can be done very easily. Other option, as I mentioned earlier, one way is if you have planned it out, you know, like right now the Zoom interaction we are having, you can do that, and that is like a film ready as well. If you have like 2-3 experts, you can integrate additional materials into the finished film and all of that's another way of doing it too.
Okay, just another question. Can animations also be done on mobile? Is there a software of that?
They do have some. They have ready-made kind of stuff, animation, in the sense that they have some simple animation for doing transition work. You know, you want some interesting way for your titles to come up, or you want the shots to be you know, to be cut in a manner. There's some animated effect doing that. So those are there. This one also has some basic things are there, you know. So they are there. Plus, as I said, all of these mobile apps, editing apps you have, these are all, you know, like a starting point. They charge some extra money to offer you some better things. So if you pay money, then you can get better animation effects and all of that as well. And you could do that very easily. And, you know, if you're working through your laptop, your desktop machine, and not your mobile, then there are more options to work with, certainly, you know, as in free options.
I think Urvashi raised hand. Urvashi, you can ask your question.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. And
Good
thank you
afternoon.
so much for this great session. And
Thank
I
you.
have
You're
a
welcome.
query
Yeah.
here is, yeah. While presenting the content, is there any option of capturing the presenter as well on one side of that content? Or,
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I
can we do
mentioned.
two things
Yeah,
together?
you could you see, if you are doing a film, you can film that separately. So as I showed in my film, you set it up and you do your whole lecture where you are addressing the camera. So you have your whole film, for example, or if you want to just put introduction and conclusionary remarks only, then you shoot those two bookends, and then you shoot your other slides and all the other material, and then
Sir,
you
won't it
can.
double the work? I mean, just doing the content part separately and then recording the presenter separately and then merging them together. Are you meant to say that?
Uh, you see, even when we are doing a full-fledged, like a big budget project, like if we are shooting a proper documentary, we often, we are shooting that one by one. So you do shoot it separately to begin with, even in that big kind of project too. So that is nothing unusual at all. That is a very
Okay.
standard thing to do. But in this case, because you are a one man army basically
Army.
making this
Yeah.
whole thing. If you had more
Okay.
people, then yes, you can ask one person, okay, I'm doing this presentation, you shoot me while I'm talking. So that is being done and your presentation is there. You could do it that way, but it is a good idea to shoot, because what happens is when you're doing it twice, in the sense that one part where you are speaking and then you are filming all the slides and all of that, the advantage is that you are also getting ideas in terms of how to edit it and how to pace it well. When you go over something twice like that, it helps you make it a better film. You are aware, okay, this place I'm faltering slightly, so let me just cut away to this visual at this point, or whatever. Or this I need to tighten up, so I have a slide which will make it work better, and so on. So it is not a waste of labor, I would say. It's a good idea to do it that way.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone
If
else,
anyone,
Manas, is there any question?
Dr. Sunanda, your mic is on. You want to ask a question?
No, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
No. I don't have any query. I just
Okay.
got
Okay.
it
Great.
very well. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think if we don't have any other questions, then we wind up this session with a big thank you to Vijay. And see, this is a skill thing, how to create a video, but we are learning it online. Many of us, especially in open and distance education, we say that skills cannot be learned through open and distance education system unless and until we go to a studio and we learn the video. But at least this session has given us ideas that how do we do it. It is just if we practice this more and we know how the things can be done, it can be achieved. And skill, Vijay showed that how it is done online also, skill can be taught. So once again, on behalf of SEMCA and behalf of all my colleagues from other open universities, other colleges, and other institutions, I thank you, Vijay, for this wonderful presentation. At least we are able to learn how to do it on a mobile phone, a presentation, and there must be. We will be sharing with the colleagues whatever you have presented, and maybe in some other session we can learn some more things from you. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. So, as I said, just quickly recap, just to encap this, I will be sending a document across with all the things I've talked about. So you have that to look through, plus which will have some links and all of that. So you can look at that. And believe you me, it is not at all a hard thing to do. And it's a very inexpensive thing. Everyone can do it on their mobile. Forget lectures. You can just start shooting some personal video and edit it just for fun and see where that takes you. So it is very, very possible. It is not at all a big mystery to do that.
Okay. Thank you so much and bye-bye. See you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We open
Thank
up
you.
this
Bye.
lockup and then we work together and then see how we can organize more programs and invite people. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
bye-bye.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.